everybody, it's Scarlet Raven, and of course, I am your true crime psychic. And today, I have with me my husband.
I'm Ikaika. I'm the skeptic and also the audio-visual tech.
So he handles everything for me on the back end of things, make sure the equipment is running well, builds the equipment, but also kind of keeps us in check to be like, no, that's explainable. You know, that could be this or that. So with the history you have, we know for sure whether it's a building noise or anything scientific.
Yes, anything that can be explained rationally is usually what I cover. So buildings can, especially when we go out to buildings, I know when a building's settling, when it's moving from the wind or any other type of natural occurrence, that can usually debunk potential noises, of haunting noises, if you will.
Not everything is spirit.
Correct.
Perfect. So this is going to be the first video in a huge series that we're doing. And what this series is going to entail, it's going to be me channeling serial killers. So I was able to get him to come in and do this with me because we definitely need that little bit of debunking with this, and we have so many different types of equipment that we're going to use to really help spirit come forward. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can get Charlie to come talk to us. And again, I don't control spirit, and we all know Charlie. He's going to make up his own mind whether he shows up or not. So there's no guarantee, but we will try our best to really help bring him forward. Now, for this session, we're going to be using a couple things. We're going to have the Orbeez, which are, if you want to tell us about those.
So these devices here are electromagnetic field sensitive and also touch sensitive. So if something either touches them or gets close to it, the lights go off, and we have marked these yes and no for hopefully spirit or whatever's out there to communicate. We have this speaker here as a portal, which will go through multiple radio frequencies at a very high rate, which will hopefully produce some sounds that we can hear and understand. And then we have a standard voice recorder, digital recorder here to catch anything that the cameras won't pick up, that doesn't come through the portal, just to get full coverage of potential communication with us.
And also, there's so much going on that if you see something, because we've caught orbs, what else have we caught so far?
Orbs, we've caught manifestations, if you will. People will either call it ectoplasm or some type of haze or smoke, if you will, going across the camera. Actually, while we were setting up, I caught something in the camera that was not here that I could see. So
the skeptic behind the camera.
That's those little points that always come up and be like, yeah, there's something else. So let's go ahead and get started here.
Okay.
Let's fire up the portal real quick, and we've got
first, before the portal, I managed to find some recordings.
Yes.
They're really rough recordings. He had used obviously a tape deck, and these must have been done when he was in prison, because you can hear people in the background. So it really has a lot of energy to it. So I'm hoping, let's play a little bit of Charlie's music, just really get a feel for his energy and let him know that we care enough.
Cool.
Perfect.
This is a song about something that I'm not even thinking about. It's a song I'm not even thinking about until I put it in this tree here. I was talking to myself to see if I was listening to myself. I know, and the feeling that I have is real. And then I climb into your mind, where the angels fear to tread.
Perfect. I think that was a good song for this occasion.
Definitely.
Let them crawl into our mind. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hook up the portal and get that rolling. Okay, so now that we have the portal started up and ready to go, you're going to hear it behind me. Now, every now and then, Spirit does try to talk over me, so definitely keep an ear out for that. And I'm definitely going to speak up, that way you can hear me. If we hear anything come through, you're going to see us react. We'll probably start yelling. But I have never heard that come through there.
That's a new one. Somebody singing. Okay, since we just played some music, we might be channeling somebody. Hopefully, Charles Manson. That obviously didn't sound like Charles Manson, but
he did have his girls singing with him in a lot of his tracks, and that was his big thing, is having the girls there dancing, singing, because that's how he drew the men in, was with the girls.
Yes.
So we've done a lot of portal work here, and we've never had that come through. We have men and women, and we have a child, but that is a brand new one, so that was really cool.
Okay, so Scarlet wrote down some questions. We've got those here, and they're kind of skewed to the left or right, if you will, from the normal kind of questionnaires that many other shows and investigators have asked of Manson, just to kind of deviate from the norm, to hopefully get a different perspective of that situation.
Okay, Charlie, I really appreciate you sharing your energy, your music, your words, and they come with all respect for you, for your family. There's a lot of singing going on. It's okay if you want to sing. There's a lot of singing. The girls want to sing to us, that's fine. I love that they want to sing for you still, Charlie. Now, one thing that I want to know is, I want you to tell us about Hollywood, Charlie.
Or shocking.
Yep.
Or shocking.
Yep. But it sounded very tongue-in-cheek. Are you tired of that question, Charlie? Are you tired of talking about Hollywood?
No.
No.
I heard a no.
Yep. Oh, that was very clear. Are you tired of that question, Charlie? Are you tired of talking about Hollywood?
No.
No.
I heard a no.
Yep. Oh, that was very clear. Okay. And what he's doing as I do this, he's writing things down as they come through. And so that way when we do the review, it's like, okay, we got that. What else did we miss? Now, Charlie, what is it about Hollywood?
Charlie, what is it about Hollywood that you like to talk about?
That sounded like his yell.
Okay.
How I couldn't tell what he said, but remember we've watched that stuff and he has that yell, like when he was sitting on the back of the chair.
Yes.
And it's kind of a shriek yell.
Yeah.
You know, I know you enjoy your music. I have been enjoying your music. I was shocked to still find it available. How do you feel about your music being available for us still?
more music coming through.
More guitar. That was like actual guitar. Now, when he told you about the portal, how it goes through the stations, it's not going through music stations, so there should be no music on it. Okay, Charlie, I really love that you're going to put a show on for us. Did you want to sing something for us or play a song?
More kind of musical sounding. Charlie, do you want to play some songs for us? What did you hear?
It's like a no or...
No?
I couldn't tell, but it was drawn out. We'll have to write that down. It's like the girls are kind of taking over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Charlie's letting the girls talk. He knows that the girls draw us in, so this is actually very typical. Listen to all that.
Yeah.
The girls have beautiful voices, Charlie. Ooh.
Yeah, it sounded like he said yeah.
Yeah. Like, duh. Okay, so you know what, Charlie? Obviously, we're going to get to some of this stuff that went on. Now, it's not a whodunit, I promise. Now, how many bodies are there of Mulholland? Now, we don't need to know who to blame, but how many are you aware of off of Mulholland?
I heard 5.
Yeah, that was 5.
So, what also we do too is because we have a female and a male asking questions, sometimes spirits don't want to interact with a certain gender.
That's why he's putting the girls up forward.
Okay. Oh, me?
Male energy. What do they do? You know, always
yes.
let the men in with the females.
Okay. So let's step back
a little bit.
Okay. Hey girls, how many of you are here?
To be
9?
That one was
Is that 9?
How many of Charlie's girls are here?
Okay, maybe you don't want us to know how many are here, but thank you for coming and helping Charlie.
Is Charlie with you as well? No.
That yelling.
Yeah.
Like a girl answer.
1,000.
1,000?
Okay.
So,
That might be referring to the question of how many bodies are off of Mulholland Drive. So Mulholland Drive, if you're not unaware, is a road just east of LA that's very notorious and famous or infamous for a lot of crime. It's extremely dangerous road to start, and it was used for a lot of people to dump bodies there ever since, you know, the mob or gangsters or anybody through the formation of LA would go up there. And it's also a quick way to get to other parts of town as well.
I think it's like we can.
We can, okay. So let me ask, how many bodies are off of Mulholland Drive? I keep hearing 5.
Yeah. Keep hearing 5. Is 5 the correct number? Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, thank you.
Now that was definitely a little bit more from beyond as far as sounding wise. Now we have the speaker face away from you, or away from us, excuse me, facing you, so the audio can pick it up as well. But also too, it's actually a little bit more clear on this backside as well. Bullseye.
Spawn Ranch.
Okay.
So that was like Spawn Ranch had all the Wild West movie.
Ah, yes.
Bullseye. So.
Okay.
Do you want us to talk about, or do you want to talk about Spawn Ranch? Why?
Because we want to know. Spawn Ranch was your sanctuary. Was Spawn Ranch your sanctuary?
Sir? Hear that?
Uh-huh. Now, as we use this portal and we have to kind of pick through everything now.
It just yelled at us.
Yeah. We have to pick through a lot of this and not use conjecture, not assume what it says. And as we use this more and more, my ear gets tuned to it as far as like what are the real answers, and you can tell when it's a real direct answer because it's always slightly whispered and it's definitely a male's voice from what I can tell. So, how many of the 5 bodies on Mulholland, how many were you responsible for?
No.
No, so they don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about Mulholland Drive anymore? Sound like you're there.
Almost sound like a car.
Mm-hmm. Veering.
Yeah. Was that a loud car noise we heard?
Yes.
Yep.
Another yes.
Yep. So we're getting a lot of noises, and as you can tell, when we had the girl, that was me. The table.
Just about the table. Okay.
I think I bumped the table. We'll have to watch it again. I think I bumped the table. I think it was my ring. You could hear the voices of the girls in the beginning, especially in their scene and their little mumbles.
Let's see if we can do this.
Yeah. Hold on one moment, guys.
Now that's the sound of the speaker reverberating on the table. I can feel it now. So
it's fine. These are gonna go bonkers. So hold on one moment, guys. I gotta explain this. So basically, we can't shut Charlie up, can we?
Right.
So the voices. He keeps yelling. He does not like being put down like that.
Okay. So.
Charlie is yelling at the moment. Do you want to just pause it for a moment so I can explain this?
Yeah, let's pause it for a moment.
Charlie doesn't like the spotlight taken away.
Right? We got enough of them in here.
Well, now we know it is Charlie. That's for sure. If you know anything about Charlie, he needs the spotlight and he wants it and he's going to demand it. So when voices come through, just like Ikaika was saying, you can hear the difference when it's spirit. And you can also hear the difference, but also the same in the cadence and the tone of the different women that we've been hearing and the different men. And when we started talking about Mulholland, Spawn Ranch, and Heard the Car, there were so many new women voices that were coming in and a few men that were new. So I'd really like to see, are those victims maybe?
Maybe people. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that line.
Perfect. Okay. It almost sounded like he yelled at you.
Are there any victims of the Manson family here?
deep.
That faint singing has kind of been there. And I can't understand what she's saying.
Yeah, it's so quick.
But it's almost like when someone's like kind of like trying to cope with something. I know it.
Okay.
Like someone's scared, being like, okay, it'll be okay. Like talking themselves down.
Are there any victims of Charlie Manson here? No. Okay.
Because are there any victims of Charlie Manson's family here?
Yeah.
Yes.
We are.
What'd you hear?
I heard we are.
And then I heard yes right after that.
Wait.
What are we waiting for?
The
You heard Zach?
Yeah, we need to see if that's a name. Well, when we do
third.
the follow-up, we'll see if Zach has something to do.
Okay. How about Tex? Tex was one of the ones too.
Tex.
Are there any victims of Tex here? I heard a yes behind it. So
We'll
there's
have to clean that up with the audio.
yeah.
Chin.
Is he? So, blooper reel.
Right.
Okay, so we talked a lot about Mulholland. We heard some music, Charlie's, and some from Beyond, which has been amazing. We got some names, all sorts of stuff. Now, we're not going to dwell just on one thing. Let's bring up some new stuff and see, because Charlie kind of quieted down a little bit. He didn't like being put on hold. So let's see if we can get Charlie back and talk about some new things. Now, everybody knows about the Tate, La Bianca, all the normal ABC 1, 2, 3. Now, there is someone that I heard about that they had actually found off the Mulholland Drive, and her name was Reet. And the police had always had a suspicion that he or his family were involved, but have never been able to make the full connection or have the evidence to really say this is it. So I really want to see what they have to say about this, because we know we have more than Charlie. So no longer is it just Charlie, it's everybody.
It's almost like a whole package if everybody showed up.
When the family travels, the family travels together. We will say that.
So hopefully we can get some solid, at least credible and solid replies to these next series of questions. Cool.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and see what we have to say. Okay, Charlie, family, all the girls, are you still here?
Back.
Yes. Is that a yes?
It almost said yes, all us.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm so glad you guys are sticking through this and allowing us to connect. Now, what I wanted to know...
No.
Was your family connected with Reet's death?
Bye.
Now, we know that there is a connection between you, Charlie, and Reet. Between your family and Reet.
No.
No.
Fine.
Now, also, too, you've seen at least one of the Manson prison interviews where he's gone, he's getting his time in front of the camera, and definitely getting his time in front of the camera and, denying plausibility, anything like that. So, we're dealing with a prankster potential, prankster kind of attitude.
Yeah.
So we really have to weed through all of this to kind of get it. So that's why we're also, one, asking direct questions and multiple times and listening to see if we actually get a solid, real answer.
Well, and it seems like I get more answers when I was like, oh, well, did your family? And then, oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it was always about how the kids were just being who they were. He was just taking care of them.
Yes.
So, spinning the way you say things, it's literally just like they do when they interrogate anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not interrogating spirit, we're just trying to speak to them in a way that works for them, that they understand, that they can speak back to us. Kind of like learning to speak their language.
Yes.
So, I'm going to ask a few different ways about Reet and maybe add some more stuff in there to see if I can get them to want to talk about it. Because this was something that they could never get anybody to talk about.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, guys. So we just had to explain that. Now, we still want to know, did the girls or possibly Tex have something to do with Reet and what happened to her?
Well,
I heard yes, and that's interesting.
Is it interesting that I'm asking you about Reet?
Are you interested that
It sounded almost like country music.
Mm-hmm. Are you interested that we're asking about Reet?
Not really sure. Now, when they found Reet, she was stabbed. Do you want to tell me where she was stabbed or how many times she was stabbed?
Her bitch.
Messy.
And messy.
Yep. Okay.
Where was Reet stabbed?
Pulling.
Reet sounded like she knows.
It just said Reet.
Okay, Reet, all right. How many times was Reet stabbed?
Honestly, have you forgotten? Did you not even know because you got so carried away with what you were doing? Yeah. No. I know it's been a really long time since you guys were around Reet, and I do appreciate the answers you're giving us, and
Focus? Okay, well, you guys focus.
yeah,
How many?
you guys are the ones that need to focus right now.
It's very hard.
It's so hard.
Dark.
Okay, if you're struggling with your energy, that's fine. You can take a moment.
To his breath.
Do you need a moment to collect your energy again?
Well.
Okay, well, you just let us know if you need to take a break. Now, what I would want to know is, why would anybody want Reet dead? From what I've heard, she was so sweet. Money?
Money? Yeah. That sounds, that's money. Said money.
Charlie, I know that a lot of your girls came from money.
Yup.
Somebody just belched.
Yep.
Somebody's enjoying their beer.
So, Charlie, did you always go for the girls that came from money?
Quack.
Charlie, did you always like the rich girls?
Good.
Yes?
Now, it's kind of funny, Charlie. You're barely talking to me,
Tilt.
but I'm the psychic. What's up with that?
Charlie, did it make you feel powerful when you took on rich girls?
Red.
Some
Wow.
singing,
So.
like
More
more drawn out
like
singing.
that was a whole register. Wow.
Now the thing is that I've noticed and seen over the years. The thing I've seen over the years is, it was always this. He said, "Oh, I would pose." That was me.
That was both of us.
Pose a question to Manson, and it would get twisted, turned around. Kind of this whole jester. Joking around, like, one, to obviously deny any, plausible potential involvement in anything negative, anything illegal, because they were just, this is the flower power generation, and they were just, fooling around. They're just being kids, man. You always hear he's taking care of the kids and whatnot. Taking them into the promised land, being the Messiah, what have you. So he was always playing around. And so that's what, one, makes this difficult. And also, two, you gotta kind of read through the BS as it comes through, I think.
Yeah.
So, and
read
also
between the lines and literally between the static.
yeah. And yeah, it's trying to understand that and trying to actually get a clear answer, because one, he was trying to always divert from something else, and two, even past, passing on from this life, he's going to hold to his convictions, because that was the one thing he can hold to, his convictions, no matter what. It was almost like talking to a wall. So for entertainment value, it's great. Trying to actually, I think, get plausible facts and answers is going to be difficult. So
And that's going to be when we go through the evidence, and we may pick out words and not even mention them in the reveal, because honestly they're just words, where really what we want to concentrate are the words that actually, that was me, mean something, and they correlate with what we're talking about. And there's already, I could tell there's been some really good ones, but there's been some words that we're going to throw out, because sometimes they're just chatty spirit, because as you can tell, like I said, we have a lot, the whole entire family that could come did come, and they came ready to go. Obviously we know Charlie wasn't a fan of Bugliosi, so maybe kind of bring up Helter Skelter, the book.
Okay. And since I'm being the one answered,
The skeptic is the one.
Yeah, you're going to have to walk me through this.
Yeah, well, I'm a woman. That's not my place.
Yeah.
With Charlie.
Cool. So let's fire up the portal again and see what we can do.
And honestly, how to do this is a really good way to do it, is literally, if he was sitting right in front of you, if he was sitting across from our table, how would you ask him? Verbally.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we're back. We had to pause that for a moment. Did you see this? Like, hello?
Yeah. Okay, so
Charlie, I don't want to upset you being female and being too nosy and not knowing my place. So I'm going to let Ikaika talk to you, and I'm going to hang out with him.
She would.
We're having a little too much fun playing with this.
yeah.
With these, I do want to break them up into sessions. because it takes a lot of energy, not just for me, but for the spirit. And when they start kind of rambling, you know they're at the point that they're saying, we're done. And plus, again, we're dealing with Charlie Manson and his girls. We gotta get them used to us and get them to know us and trust us.
Yeah, we might have to revisit this again, and just to let them know that we're not going after them, we're just trying to get some straight answers. Plus, this is our first time reaching out to communicate with Manson and his party, if you will. So
Turn. Is there something behind us? Do you guys, is there anything behind us? So, I want to... Jim? Right, Jim. So, I want to thank all the spirit, our guides, both of our guides for protecting us. I want to thank Charlie for taking the time to talk to us. You listen to that. And I also want to thank his family for coming to visit with us as well. We appreciate all of your time and your energy. And we just want to leave you with our respect and understanding that we are not here to poke, to prod, or to harass.
And he's
Perfect. I think that was a good way to close the session.
yes,
We have a lot of footage to go through. Not to mention, we also have our EVP recorder that has been going, so we need to listen to that and see what happened kind of in the background.
definitely.
Because they could be answering in more ways than one.
Yes.
Now, Charlie, maybe Charlie was a little above the Orbeez.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to, save these for one of those killers that likes Lego or something.
Yeah, right. But yeah, we've got a ton of footage and sound clips to go through. So we're going to crunch that, and you will catch that on part 2 of these episodes.
Perfect. Thank you so much for helping me with this episode and for helping me do all the tech stuff and the equipment. And we will be back with the next video, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.